Hey guys, it's SixthStarcraft, gonna be bringing you a short best of 3 series from the round of 32 from the Dogsi number 4, not the Dogsi number 5, which is starting next week. I've decided that since, my software and hardware seem to be working okay, I didn't actually change anything, but it just seems to be working okay for now. I should do a few warm-up games just to get in the mood for casting once again, and just to sort out any glitches if they do arise. So, so far looking okay. Not too great, but, okay. In the southern position, we do have ImSkeptical, the blue Terran, who has spawned, yes, southern position, who's facing off against TAEdge, the purple Zerg, who has spawned in the eastern or 3 o'clock position. Just sending out that first Overlord now, going to be scouting out and seeing that there is no ImSkeptical in the close air position. And should be sending out a scouting drone just to check out the southern position, because the southern position is the greatest threat to the Zerg taking an early hatch. So always good to send out that first worker to actually send out a land scout. A lot of Zerg players will elect not to do that. Instead they will elect to send their Overlord to one position, the close air position, and then the close land position of that close air position, so the cross position, and they'll be able to spot the worker from the opponent scouting there, and if they do not, then they'll assume that the opponent has spawned close land, and either way you should see your opponent's scouting worker come in anyway. So we do see a Rax and a refinery coming up on very usual timings from ImSkeptical, and the SCV does poke in and see the spawning pool has gone down. TAEdge just putting in his drones into the extractor just then. I've actually already casted this game once before, but Audacity crashed, and then I was like, oh, sad face. So, I've seen this game a lot of times, so forgive me if I give anything away. Orbital Command and Marine coming up now. Tech Lab going to be put onto here. Spoiler alert. Strange thing about Tech Labs, if you cannot actually tell if they're researching something. There's no animation, but I think every single other building or unit producing structure has an animation for when they're producing something. Like, except maybe command centers. I'm not sure about that. Like barracks, you'll see the lights go up and down. They'll come on and off. Actually, same thing with the command center. The lights flash on and off. And Tech Labs, they have very critical upgrades. So like, if you manage to get into the Terran base, you should be focusing them down. It would just be nice to see if they are researching something or not. Actually, just so that you can focus those down more effectively, this drone going to be scooting over to the vents, going to try and juke out this Marine. He is going to try and build an extractor there, which will increase the scouting time of this drone significantly. However, it's just going to get picked up right before it does manage to begin that extractor animation. That would have just increased the scouting time of that drone for so long, and contained the first 3 Marines from ImSkeptical, as it does take 3 Marines to out DPS the creation of an extractor. And these 2 circles are going to be poking up the front just to see the Tech Lab and these 2 supply depots. Stimpack going down, and as you can see, you cannot tell that the Tech Lab is actually researching anything. It looks like that all the time. And losing a Zergling there, so just an early little bit of a loss right there. Not too important. These workers need to get back to mining, and early expansion going down for TAEdge. TAEdge actually did win the Dogsi number 3, I believe. Yeah, he won the number 3 against Voices, who is part of the GG clan, I believe. I could be wrong. But yeah, both of those players very aggressive. TAEdge very aggressive with his Zerglings and Baneling style. He does enjoy going for that Muta Baneling, and 2 more racks being added on, as well as Command Center looking to put up his own natural expansion to match TAEdge's. And supply blocking himself a little bit there, not too big of a deal, as the supply depot for Skeptical is just about done. If we go back to TAEdge's base, he has plopped down a Baneling nest, and just as well as ImSkeptical is very Marine heavy at the moment. Stimpack just about finishing. He will be researching combat shells next, and just very safe, very slow pushing from ImSkeptical. Looks like he is going to be getting a reactor on this barracks. Is he going to be getting a second reactor or a Tech Lab on this 3rd barracks? Sorry, I need to swallow that. Oh, that sounded bad. and he will be opting for that second reactor. So it's going to be very, very marine heavy factory also coming up currently, as well as an orbital command. First 7 banelings being morphed here at the bottom of the ramp, and looks like he will be going for a small scale baneling bus. Not sure if he has quite enough to deal with this force. It will depend mostly on positioning. If only he knew that this tech lab was researching something, I'm sure that these banelings would be focusing in down. However, the tech lab will get in the red. It's on fire. Will it go down before this research finishes? Skeptical forced to pull SCVs in order to repair. Looks like he will be saving this tech lab as the speeding baneling thread gets cleaned up quite easily by Skeptical's marine marauder forces. We do have more Zerglings being rallied over to the natural expansion ramp right here. Plenty of banelings coming in now. 6, that is 6 banelings, and if you look at the production tab, more Zerglings coming up as that combat shield is just about finished. This overlord is going to be ducking in here, trying to see something, but looks like he did get some good scouting up. If we go over to Edge's vision, a little bit of a poke up here. If we go to Edge's vision, he did actually scout the entirety of the Terran base, just running a little bit up there with his Zerglings and banelings, and just unsupply capping himself right then. So he looks like he will be joining up at the natural expansion, going to be trying not to get this hatchery to pay for itself, not just in lava but with minerals and gas. And it looks like that these speedlings are able to block the orbital command, which will be making a little bit of a wall here at the lower side of the ramp. Good thing I have these warm-up games because I'm not doing too well. And early stim from ImSkeptical, I do believe that Edge should have run away with those speedlings, instead choosing to engage, trying to get a flank off with the banelings from the north. However, some brilliant positioning from ImSkeptical, using these minerals to funnel the banelings, and just able to clean that force up. All these baneling and Zergling guts everywhere, sprayed everywhere, all over the natural expansion, as that orbital command does take its rightful position and is now going to be guarded by 2 bunkers, siege tank and siege mode on the way, as well as a I would think medevac. Yes, medevac is also on the way, and we do have more speedlings just spilling in. The one weakness that this expansion may have is on this right-hand side. However, Edge choosing to just go straight after the infantry. The infantry on the ramp, very good positioning by ImSkeptical, reducing that surface area significantly, upon which the speedlings may engage. However, the speedlings will just run up to the mineral line, as the majority of ImSkeptical's forces were forced into the bunker. This siege tank getting picked off as it was rallied. Not doing any damage right there, and all these workers just main arding to the natural expansion. So these speedlings going to have their way with any stray SCVs that remain in the main, and that is quite unfortunate. Workers speed siege mode has just almost finished. Siege mode is very good against speedling baneling, and we do have even more banelings being morphed here on the high ground. If we go over to the units tab, we do have 32 SCVs versus 29 drones, so the Terran slightly above on economy wise. However, he does need to transfer some of these workers back over to the main. The banelings and the speedlings managed to take out both bunkers. Speedlings being forced into the now oversaturated mineral line, transferring all of his workers back to the main, and these speedlings are going to be preventing any sort of mining on the natural expansion. Going to be choosing to engage ImSkeptical's infantry on the ramp once again. Not an ideal position for speedlings or any melee units to engage ranged units, and we do have a third going up at the gold expansion for TAEdge. Always a good idea to expand as a Zerg. However, it's very difficult to get that third expansion up and running in a ZVT, especially in close positions. Going to pick up this stray marine here on the right hand side, and coming in from the weakness. However, all these infantry forces are in position to defend, and it does look like all these bases are going to be coming in here. However, some good pullback from ImSkeptical, while leaving other marines up the north stationary, which were able to take out all those banelings. And it does look like this hatchery is not quite done. I need to turn on my production tab again, and just going to be rebuilding these 2 bunkers, as all these medevacs are almost out of energy. I believe just this one is left with 20 energy, which is enough for 20 life. And Spire has gone down now for TAEdge at the base of his main. Lair has been up for quite a while, no sign of baneling speed, and just getting up that 4th extraction now, so he will be able to fund those mutalisks quite easily as soon as he gets that gas up, and this gold expansion up actually. and just going to be continuing to pump out these tanks and marines. Not so much Marauders. These mules need to get back to work desperately. 3 of them just idle right there, and engineering bay going up, so pretty good timing with the Spire actually getting his engineering bay up just as the Spire is going up. And this tank should be sieging up here, but it may choose to not siege up there. These Felix going to be trying to deal with this drop. However, the Marines and Marauders are positioned very well behind the mineral line. Going to reduce that engaging surface area significantly, just loading back up into the medevac. Going to be containing with the threat of harass, possibly, or going back to the main, just to reinforce his main army. And it does look like this tank is still not sieged up. Going to be double gassing here at the natural expansion as well as the supply depot, just to mess with that Zerg bailing AI and create a little bit of a wall, possibly just to flank around 7. Mutalisks coming out now on the way, as well as an armory from ImSkeptical, so perhaps we are going to see some Thor action in order to counter the clumped up Mutalisks. These 2 missile turrets going down now, going to be covering all of these buildings. Very good positioning here, as well, would like to see a 3rd one perhaps at the back, but you know, it's not really necessary. A lot of players will overreact to the threat of Mutalisks with just mass turrets. However, the key units will be your infantry forces with Stim. Going to be coming up in here, picking off a lot of these Felix. However, all these Mutalisks just ran over the Marines. They weren't attacking. They were rallied to the natural expansion, and that will force Edge to call good game. The series is currently 1-0 in favor of ImSkeptical. So join me for the next game as I warm up to the Dogsi number 5, which will be taking place next Saturday. That is January the 8th at 4 p.m. Jakarta time, or 8 p.m. Sydney time, which is where I am. So thank you for watching, and I bid you good night, sirs.